peak of his career. Who did not like that?
Is this just...
I'll say it was a hit. Where is the mastermind?
Mrs. Independent is your host, aka I am not a lawyer, and apparently in South Africa, the early bird doesn't catch the fattest worm. It catches a voluntary confession. So let's talk about justice. Let's talk about Advocate Mshololo. Let's talk about OB entries. Let's talk about Iphoyisa Elikhulu, the South African edition way. So Bongani Ntanzi's confession was the talk of the town, was in the spotlight. And guess what? At that time, it was not about what was said about, but when it was said and under what condition. So, members of the Court of Public Opinion, here is where I want you to pay attention. Bongani Ntanzi, accused number 2, apparently gave a confession very helpful, very cooperative, or so it seems until you look at the police logs, OB entries. According to the OB entries, that occurrence book, the official record of prisoner movement, okay, Ntanzi was booked out of his cell at 8:15 in the morning and only returned at 2:30 the following morning. Kamatha. That's right. 18 hours out, no sleep, no rest, and then 2 hours later, guess what? Poof, he's off again. Because, hey, who needs sleep when you got a murder confession to make? And so, let's take a listen to this clip when Advocate Zandile Mshololo was interrogating these times. It's Abalui. Let's take a listen.
Startling revelations. The defense basically saying today that the Pretoria North Police book shows that accused number 2, this is Bongani Ntanzi, was booked out of the cells at 8:15 a.m. This is on the 18th of June 2020 and booked back into the police station at about 2:30 a.m. Now, this is on the 19th of June 2020. Why is this significant? You'll recall that the 19th is the day that Ntanzi allegedly first confessed. Advocate Zandile Mshololo suggests that it is suspicious as there's not even a record of Ntanzi being taken to court. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
He's booked out in the morning. He's taken back early in the morning at 2:30. He's booked out at 4:50. In other words, it means this person did not sleep, according to the entries as I was following them. Because he's booked back at 2:20 and he's booked out at, he's being charged. I think there were also other work that was being done at the station when the person is charged. And then at 4:50, he's booked out to court. But I know from your evidence that before he went to court at 6:50 or at 7:30, he was taken to you. Am I correct?
Correct.
And according to the defense counsel for accused number 1, is that is when accused number 2 was being assaulted a day before when he was brought to you, which is the 18th when he was booked out, up to the midnight when he was booked back. Do you understand that, Kenan?
Yes.
I'm not saying he was assaulted by you. I'm telling you what happened to the accused before he was brought to you.
I should have known that. He should have told me that he was assaulted.
Okay.
If it really took place.
Lieutenant Colonel Mohale Rapat, what are you saying? What are you even saying? Now picture this. You are accused of murder, exhausted, okay? And then you are taken to a room where you find a man who introduces himself as Lieutenant Colonel Mohale Rapatu, the senior cop, the top cop, the one in charge, Iphoyisa Elikhulu, the big boss of the police. And this is where Iphoyisa Elikhulu missed the point, because Advocate Mshololo's argument is simple, okay? A man denied rest held in custody beyond legal limit, and possibly subjected to coercive tactics, that person cannot be expected to give a voluntary statement. Definitely not after the occurrence book gave you the statistics and the timelines. No. I mean, it's all right there. The OB entries tells a story, and definitely it's not a bedtime one. Unless, of course, you think 10 to 5 in the morning, okay, 4:50 in the morning is perfectly normal hour to interrogate someone who's already been up for 20 hours straight. And you remember Brigadier Keninda dismissing those concerns. He said the agency of the case demanded action and that the confession had to be taken immediately. And he meant agency, okay? Because we all know that after 6 years of no arrest and endless speculation, suddenly everything needed to happen at 4 a.m. How convenient.
Shololo also questioning the manner in which the very same police officer had introduced himself to Ntanzi when he was brought to him. Let's take a listen to what happened there.
Do you think the accused would have reported the assault by other police to someone who has introduced himself as the Poison Cool?
It wasn't in a format of a threat. I said it diplomatically, that he understood. So there was no threat in that conversation.
But of course, Ntaterapatu, what you don't understand is for Ntanzi, it's not a safe space for him to say, oh, by the way, sir, they assaulted me. And sir, of course, you maintain your composure. You were diplomatic with your shiny badge. But the question is, still hung in the courtroom wall like a well-timed punchline. Was Ntanzi ever ready to speak? Now, the court must decide, was this a genuine confession or a product of a pressure and fatigue? As always, we will be watching when the judge delivers his judgment, because justice for Senzo Meyiwa must be built on the truth, not shortcuts. As Brigadier Keninda said, the confession was supposed to be taken urgently. Remember, agency cannot replace legality, and justice demand due process. And this is Mrs. Independent, aka I am not a lawyer, signing out and reminding you that sometimes the badge on the chest is bigger than the truth in the courtroom. Let's meet on another one. Okay, let me know what you think on the comment section, and remember to subscribe, like, and share the video. Until the next one, peace.